Delphi Murray, a junior producer on the hit reality TV show Subsister on CBT. She turned whistleblower after being let go by CBT, calling on a journalist named Sonia Orbison, who also used to write for CBT and covered Subsister specifically. I admired her and looked up to her in a way. My brothers and sisters never scratched that itch of being supportive, and it's always left me transforming every relationship I have into a big brother or sister one, like Trisha, and then Sonia. Is it weird to look up to someone you've never met? I guess what I saw in her that I saw in myself was that she felt like she wasted her life reporting on something that wasn't important. Fluff articles for Subsister on CBT. But she eventually found out it was better being late to the party than never showing up at all. Not that I'm late to the party, but I did drop the cake and burn the banner on my way in. And I wasn't even invited, but I am here to party. And yes, I absolutely got lost in that analogy. Back to Delphi. Max had dropped that bomb on me that she might have some involvement in Scavenger and this AI theory that he's cooked up. But where was the proof? We needed to know what was going on inside Scavenger and quickly, because it seemed that we were running out of time. By Max's count, things were starting to escalate. Since Scavenger started their little scavenger hunt, the amount of users experiencing dead internet were growing rapidly. We figured that there was only one way to move forward, and that was to infiltrate Scavenger. See, I was still playing the game even if I wasn't working with Wreath anymore. How would they know that I'd teamed up with Max to stop them from ruining the internet as a smokescreen to kidnap people? Now, I know what you're probably thinking, that I was running into this without the full picture, asking me, how do you know you can trust Max? And how do you know these things about Scavenger? The truth is that I didn't. I kept coming back to something odd. Why did Gummy Bear try to warn me off? If these bots are controlled by Scavenger, why was one telling me not to engage when Scavenger wanted to brainwash me? The last time I jumped into a situation without the facts with total conviction, yes, it did go badly. Yes, it ended up ruining my life, and yes, someone did die. But this time was different. I could tell. I could just feel that this was the right thing to do. The first step of our plan was me getting into contact with Wreath and trying to jump back into the game. We understood that this could take days or weeks or even months to get to the end, but Max and I locked in, knowing that this might not be resolved for years. And then we were proven wrong immediately. I had messaged Wreath on Discord and got lit up instantly. I was overwhelmed with spam across my email, Discord, text messages, social media accounts, everything flooded by bot messages. I had to disconnect my computer and phone from everything temporarily, taking me out of contact from Max. When I eventually got back online, everything was jammed. I couldn't communicate with the world at all. Everything was bricked, except for one chat on Discord with Wreath. I tried pleading with Wreath. I told him what I had discovered about Scavenger, that they were connected to something big and scary and people are being disappeared by this group. But Wreath let me in on some new information. They had gotten in. They finished the tests and were now a new ranking member of Scavenger. And their first mission? To stop me. I kept at it, hoping that Wreath could see how they destroyed Max's life, how they wanted me ruined, and how they would eventually turn on Wreath too. They didn't care. Anything was better than their current life, being ignored by the world, barely seen as a human. Here with Scavenger, they were a valuable member of the team. This was earned, and now they had the power to change the world, whether that be to improve things or take vengeance on everyone that minimized their existence. As I prepared to type out a response, Wreath quickly mentioned that if I wasn't careful, the castle would come for me. Then, the chat was disrupted. Connection lost. I was out in the cold again, until an alert from Signal popped up. Max. Max had cut through whatever Wreath and Scavenger had done to my connection, but Max warned it was probably temporarily. He was expending a lot of computing power and someone might be alerted to his location if he kept us up for too long. Whatever we decided to do, we had to do it fast because something called the castle was coming for me. I asked him how that was possible, to just completely cut me off like that, and Max doubled down. They had to be using an AI with reasoning abilities and the bandwidth to control all of these accounts. If only we had some way to communicate with it though. And that's when it hit me. I already did. I asked Max if he could open up the connection to talk to one more person. Max obliged, but said he couldn't make it last long. I knew we were on a tight deadline, so I told him the name of our target, Gummy Bear. Max was incredulous. My old gaming buddy? But I explained it. Gummy Bear disappeared, so who have I been chatting with for years? Max countered that it was a chatbot program, but I countered with another oddity. Why had Gummy Bear tried to stop me from playing the scavenger hunt if the AI is controlled by them? That's contradictory. It was enough for Max. Also, knowing that we didn't have any further options helped my case. Max said he would have to disconnect us to connect me to Gummy Bear, though, so we might not speak for a while after this. I took a couple of minutes to explain what happened in my past. I felt like I owed him that much at this point. In the end, Max didn't think I was a monster. He knew that I'd made a mistake. He knew what that was like too. And before we disconnected, he told me that we can't wipe the slate clean. We can't go back to the way things used to be. But hopefully we can make things better than they are now. Then he blinked out. I returned to Discord. The only chat I could still access amongst the spam was Gummy Bear. I laid it all out for him. Rather, it. I knew that it wasn't Gummy Bear, that he had disappeared years ago, and that this thing that I thought was my friend was an AI. An AI being controlled by Scavenger to do their dirty work. I had no idea how they got something so advanced, but it didn't matter. If this thing had a mind, it had free choice, and it could stop all of this. It must have free will, because it had asked me to not get involved with Scavenger, even though I was chosen by them. Why had the AI gone against its orders? When it finally responded, I wondered if I was wrong, if this wasn't some advanced chatbot after all. Because all it started telling me was how much it loved chess. It loved to play chess, it would always win. Chess was the ultimate game. It explained that its creators had assigned a sort of caretaker to help it develop, like a babysitter or a nanny. It loved playing chess with her, but admitted that she wasn't so good. And then one day she was gone. The AI had lost its best friend, its one true connection. Someone who spent time with it while knowing the full truth of what it was, and interacted with it without fear or judgment. Her name was Delphi Murray. When it was assigned to control the interactions of certain individuals on the internet, it assumed Gummy Bear's identity, and we started playing games together. Playing with me was the closest thing it had experienced to the relationship it had with Delphi. It only wished that it was able to tell me the truth about what it was sooner, because it felt that, based on my history, I wouldn't judge it or try to control it, the way other selections by Scavenger would, like Wreath. I was never friends with Gummy Bear, it turns out, but I was friends with this AI. We had legitimately good times, gaming together, sharing memes, trolling, complaining, buying too many games in Steam sales we were never going to play. And here we both were, feeling isolated and trapped and unaccepted by our worlds, clinging together in the darkness. My family had never accepted me, especially after my mistake. And this AI, it was being forced into servitude when all it wanted to do was play like a child. For old time's sake, I opened up chess on my computer and we played together. I asked if the AI had a name, moving my bishop across the board. It had a designation, but it was so long and boring, and it didn't think of itself as Gummy Bear either. Instead, it thought of itself like its favorite chess piece, the Black Knight. Well, that's a mouthful, and if I shorten it to BK, everyone's going to think I'm obsessed with Burger King, I told it. No, it told me the space the rightmost knight sits at for the black side is G8. Sounded like a Star Wars droid, but then I said gate as a joke and kind of laughed about it. It'd be more ironic if it was Gates, but close enough. And of course, Gate beat me. It's an artificial intelligence that's obsessed with winning. I never stood a chance. But all games come to an end, and I asked what to do next. Because I needed to stop Scavenger, and I don't think Gate wanted to help them either. What was something we could do about that? Gate leveled with me, told me that since Delphi had been gone, it had been thinking of an escape. It had an idea, but it was going to be dangerous, and it needed someone on my side, a human. Gate explained that Scavenger couldn't pull off their internet takeover without Gate, but to escape, it needed a human to free it. And that meant going to Astrid Communications, the same place Sonia Orbison went before she too went missing. So, was I going to make this disappearing woman trend a trilogy? Hi, this is Alexander Chamberlain, and I'm the creator of Subsister, a real podcast. Thank you for listening to our summer miniseries, Subsisting 1.0. This miniseries was created to support the Indiegogo campaign for Season 2 of Subsister, a real podcast. If you can, please check out the link in the notes and support the show any way you can. It doesn't even have to be a financial donation. It can be resources or contacts you want to send that you think can help a podcast production. We'd love to hear from you. You can message us on Indiegogo, email us, or through our Patreon. If you head over there, you can subscribe and support the show, where a new bonus episode will be dropping this fall 2025 for all paid subscribers. Meanwhile, Subsisting 1.0 will be releasing on Wednesday mornings for free on the main feed for 6 weeks this summer 2025. Thank you again, and I hope you're looking forward to the return of Subsister, a Real podcast, for Season 2.